ISO sensitivity in photography refers to the camera's sensitivity to light. It determines how easy the camera image sensor captures light and produces a digital image. Understanding ISO sensitivity is essential for controlling exposure while managing the trade-off between image quality and noise. ISO, which stands for International Organization for Standardization, is the standard measurement used to indicate the level of sensitivity to light the sensor has. The camera's ability to capture images in various lighting conditions ranges from low-light environments to well-lit scenes. ISO is represented by numerical values and starts at 100 ISO, 200, 400, 800, and so on. Lower ISO values, like 100 ISO, indicate a low sensitivity to light, which works best for bright conditions with lots of available light, while higher ISO values, for example 800 or 1600 ISO, indicates increased sensitivity to light, allowing the camera to capture images in low light situations. I think of ISO as the ace up your sleeve. ISO can be extremely useful when the available light is limited, and you cannot use lower shutter speeds or wider apertures. Rising your ISO should be the last thing to consider though. While higher ISO sensitivity helps capture images in low-light situations, it can introduce a side effect known as noise or grain. Noise refers to the random variation of pixelation that can appear in an image, reducing its overall quality and sharpness. Lower ISO settings typically produce cleaner images with less noise. The amount of noise introduced at higher ISO values can vary depending on the camera model and the technology. It is important to know that with the technology nowadays, we can get away with higher ISOs and still maintain image quality. But high ISO in well-lit situations can cause other problems like chromatic aberration, which also has a loss of quality. On that note, for those who love grain and the film-style photos, digital noise and grain are not the same thing. For style purposes, you can add grain later. So this is why I think of ISO as the last thing you set. You want to make creative and technical decisions based on aperture and shutter speed, and then try to keep the ISO as low as you possibly can for the conditions you have. It is important to find the right balance between ISO sensitivity, aperture, and shutter speed to achieve the desired exposure and image quality. In well-lit conditions, using lower ISO values like 100 ISO or 200 ISO is preferable to maintain image quality and minimize noise. In low light situations, increasing the ISO sensitivity becomes necessary to be able to properly capture well-exposed images, even if it means accepting or trading out some level of noise. Many cameras offer an automatic ISO feature that automatically adjusts the ISO sensitivity based on the available light and the desired exposure settings. Auto ISO can be a convenient option when shooting in changing lighting conditions, as it helps maintain proper exposure without constantly needing to adjust the ISO manually. We'll talk about this more later, but you gotta be careful with those settings because you want to retain control. Understanding ISO sensitivity allows photographers to adapt to different lighting situations and achieve the desired exposure, but it is important to balance your ISO with your aperture and your shutter speed to maintain image quality as well as your exposure, so you can capture your images in various lighting situations and keep your images at a high quality. Experimenting with different ISO settings and reviewing the results will help you develop a better understanding of ISO and its impact on your photographs, especially because every camera is a little bit different.